Teaching, they say, is a noble profession. For close to 3 weeks now, teachers are on strike. Teachers are on strike. They are asking, of course, that government should resolve their advancements and other dues and allowances. But then government is still very reluctant to meet up with the expectations of the teachers. What is really blocking the strike from ending? What is blocking the government to resolve the problems of teachers? In the course of this program, equally, we shall be talking the National Assembly with the session of March that has opened and the re-election of Kamer as the president of the National Assembly, or the House Speaker of the House of Assembly, and equally this coalition of opposition political parties with the SDF, the CDU, and of course the FSNC party of Cabral Libi. How powerful can that coalition be in the House of Assembly? And then this letter written to PWG of Bamenda by the President of the Republic. What is the interpretation that we can make out of this letter addressed to PWG of Bamenda, the winner of the Cup of Cameroon, the 2021 edition? Is the Republican debate with Republican panelists, and of course we have a chief here with us. They call him Chief Ernest Akufo, to whom we say good evening, Chief, and welcome to the Republican debate.
Good evening, Tabby Clarkson. Good evening to viewers out there. It's a pleasure this evening again being on this panel to talk Republican issues. I just hope that within the 1 hour or so, we must have dissected all of the topics you've brought up, and the viewers, they'll just be there to assess our output.
Especially somebody like Hassan Sama, who is watching us live from Bankoloye in Yaoundé. With us here on this platform is a lady, and she's a journalist. They call her Afu Gislin, to whom we say good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Texan, and thank you for having me on the program today. You know, it's a pleasure to be here.
How are you today?
Well, we thank God, by the grace of God, I'm doing okay.
By the grace of God, she is fine. She is a journalist. And equally with us here, of course, he is a civil society activist, a teacher equally, a major consultant. They call him Prince Will Kotem. Prince Will, we say good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Tabby Clarkson, and good evening to the fellow panelists here today. It is really an honor for me to be again on this panel on the Republican debate, talk about Republican issues, especially at this hour. We won't talk about teachers in the National Assembly. I think there are Republican issues that we need to iron them so straightly. And I want to salute all the Republican viewers out there and wish you guys join us during this program so that we can better dissect it. Thank you very much.
Is the Republican debate on the Republican channel, Camdis Television? Without any waste of time, can we have our press review? A press review with Ruth Fonyo. Press review before we come back.
Hello, Tabby Clarkson and guest. While teachers continue to wait on the government to execute the measures they promised to better resolve their working conditions, today we begin our package with Loïc Fundi, which talks about teachers' strike. The Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reforms, Joseph Anderson Lay, termed incompetent. The Guardian Post talks Northwest House of Chiefs. President clocks 100 days in amber captivity, while page 6 says Ambazonian independence struggle still struggling. Municipal update says Boya Paramount stole. The Esuka Endele era is here, while page 9 remembers the father of new chief, Dr. EML Endele. In the Eden, 63 billion francs CFA has been given to boost agro-pastoral sector, while page 8 says Media Mongol Boni Dashako to create 25,000 jobs. We are told in the Eagle's Eye, Bureau election at the National Assembly, a geopolitical equation to be solved this Friday. You can see all the text governing the National Assembly in this present context in page 2. In the Honorable newspaper, National Assembly, deputies want to see their champion Cavaye Yege Jibril re-elected House Speaker, while page 6 and 7 says total calm and serenity have come back to Palais de Verre Ngwaikele. In Lelit, governance, fight against road accident. The Ministry of Transport, in synergy with civil society institutions, including an NGO, Africa Eye Foundation, have favorably answered in favor of road security with transport syndicates. La Nouvelle Expression talks tribal hatred. Bamoun people chase the Menvele, while page 2 talks government manipulation. University of Dirty Works. Cameroon Tribune says CAF Confederation Cup decisive match for Coton Sport. The Garoua club will play against Al Massi in Egypt this Sunday in a crucial match wherein anything short of a victory eliminates the Cameroon flag bearer from the continental competition. Quotidien Realite talks World Water Day. The general manager of Camwater, Jeve Bolenga, announces 2022 great projects. In Le Messager, the Olembe Sports Complex heading to a white elephant. The works project of the stadium dedicated to Paul Biya was deserted by the Franco-Canadian Magil, which had received almost all the amount they demanded to deliver the infrastructure. Le Quotidien talks about the promotion of the Cameroon image. The 237 festival opens this Friday. What image will the festival be selling of Cameroon? See page 5 for details. Quotidien Eco Santé talks of the 4th vaccination campaign effectively launched in the East region, while page 1 talks of a 58-year-old woman who gives birth to a bouncing baby girl. Page 6 to 7 talks of the 6 simple techniques in curing pile. Mutation talks about Ukraine, 10th of compatriots trapped in the midst of bombardment and cry over abandonment. L'Info Acho says, is it not time to restart classes? Students too have persevered enough. On a trop supporté. While in Gabon, Ali Bongo has decided to lift all COVID-19 barrier measures. Last but not the least, L'Echo Quotidien talks about the reconstruction of UBC and NFC Bank. The International Monetary Fund puts pressure on the state. And lastly, the Post-Weekender says Fcfa under Samuel Eto'o fees. Anglophone representation shrinks to historical low. While page 3 says security faces tear gas protesting AFCON volunteers. Till next weekend, that was the press review in the Republican debate.
Yes, we say thank you and see you next week again, Ruth Fognon with the press review. Afu Ghislaine, you just follow the press review. What caught your attention?
What caught my attention was the World Water Day. You know that water crisis in Cameroon is something which is very peculiar, especially in the capital city here in Yaoundé. You know, there are areas where they don't have water, and there are neighborhoods where people have to trek and go kilometers to get potable water. So if the Minister of Water and Energy is proposing new projects for the year 2022, we hope that that's to ameliorate the water situation in the country, especially in Yaoundé here.
Water is a problem, eh? In Yaoundé, same like in Douala. That paper also caught your attention, N.S. Akufo?
Yes, you see, for some time now, the tabloids have been having very rich information, either social, political, or economic. What caught my attention, the teachers' strike in one of the papers, elections at the National Assembly, and then the very macabre incident where the chief of the head of the Northwest Funds union, no, not union, is nowhere to be found after 100 days. And then I begin to ask myself the searching question as per whom does he represent? Yes, because if at least he presented some people, I think the people ought to have gone out already to say enough is enough, 100 days after. Anyway, that's not the isolated case. You have the delegates in the Indian division, the 5 delegates. It's getting to about a year now, and nobody is telling Cameroonians anything about their whereabouts. Not forgetting the elections at the assembly. We all saw what happened yesterday. The old guard is not wanting to leave place to the young guard, and they keep going and coming, going and coming. It's a pity, because if we think that in a country where we talk of the youths being the leaders of tomorrow, I then begin to ask myself, where do they learn to become leaders? They should learn now, so that tomorrow when they are leaders, they should be more effective. But when you disenfranchise them, when you push them out, you don't want them to come closer to power. How then do they know how to manage power? Yes.
Prince Will, what caught your attention in the papers?
Actually, a number of things caught my attention, which I want to begin with, which is not a new news, the teachers' strike. And one of the papers actually carried the fact that students too have also supported for as long as possible. Is it not also a time for them to be given an opportunity? And not only that, but the enthronement of the coronation of the Boya Paramount King. And, well, also the crisis in Ukraine, which is something which is devastating.
Some Cameroonians are crying.
Cameroonians held trapped there. The National Assembly particularly is what actually caught most of my attention, which I think we're going to diagnose it now.
Okay, before we come to the National Assembly, we shall talk PWD of Bamenda. Can we have the reports of PWD as they actually paraded the streets of Bamenda with a trophy that they won when they played against the Ash of Douala? It was last Sunday. The reports before we come back.
After winning the Cameroon Cup finals last Sunday, March 13, 2022 in Yaoundé, PWD of Bamenda has arrived this Thursday, March 17 with the cup in their homeland. The Abaka boys who got into town from Buda first presented the cup to the Northwest Governor Afrique, and the cup was later carried through several major streets of the town to the applause and admiration of the fans. The Abaka boys, who are winning the cup for the first time, hope the cup will bring more development and peace to the region as the cry for a stadium is being re-echoed.
I'll say thank you, and thank you again. I'm very proud and very, very happy to stand here today to address the population of Northwest region as the President of Africa for Northwest region. Why am I so happy? PWD last played the finals when I was born. That's 1979. Today, I'm proud to accompany them to bring back the trophy in our region. I'm always very, very proud and happy because the elites of the region are always standing by me.
The joy is enormous, and the population of the Northwest remain positive and hopeful that the boys will return with a good feedback as they continue with the MTN Elite One Championship.
Yes, with the collaboration of Willie and Mr. Bidasesh, can we have the letter of the President of the Republic to PWD of Bamenda? The letter reads, the President of the Republic, of course, writing to the team captain of PWD, I am pleased to extend my heartfelt congratulations to you, all your teammates, coaches, and trainers on the victory of PWD of Bamenda at the finals of the 59th edition of the Cup of Cameroon. The excellent sports performance of the Abakwa boys, which comes as a result of your commitment and talent, has earned PWD of Bamenda its first ever Cup of Cameroon. On this joyous occasion, It is my wish that ahead of the continental competitions, your team will redouble efforts to properly gear up for the competitions, or for them. Yeah, for them. Yours faithfully, Paul Biya, writing to the team captain. They call him Derek Berenui. Well, that is the letter of the President of the Republic, Mr. Ernest Akufo. The analysis that you are making to this letter is timely, is encouraging, or is it political equally?
Tabi Clarkson, yes, and the viewers out there. I smile, yeah, because let me first of all start by congratulating the Abakwa boys, Peter and John. Yes, because you saw the new bus.
Yeah, I
chipped in my widow's mite for that bus. Yes, it's verifiable. The plaque where the names are, my name is there. So every reason.
You as an elite is normal, man. You're an elite.
It's not an affair of being elite, Tabi Clarkson. There are elite who are more than me,
yeah,
but they don't have that art of giving. Giving is an art, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
congratulations anyway.
Thank you. So I want to thank the boys for that. For that exploit. It was an exploit. You see, 1967, 1979, 2022. It came a long way. We just say kudos. And how I wish this victory had to bring peace to the Northwest region, had to bring development to the Northwest region. Why do I say so, Tabi Clarkson? Especially when you go to look at the letter addressed by the President of the Republic to the boys. Well, like a critic, I want to say that letter was, I thought it ought to have been addressed to the president of that club. A club is owned by the president and not by the players. You write to the president, then congratulating the players. I may be wrong, but I see it that way. Secondly, when that letter talks of the fact that
must you always criticize others?
No, if you don't have a critical,
is it a bad thing to write to the captain, the team captain?
No, well, it's not a bad thing, but I think you could have been writing when you want to congratulate the individual, and not when you want to talk of the ensemble. Okay. When you want to talk of the ensemble, you get to the president who manages all of the compartments of the team.
Politically speaking, down.
Politically speaking, timely, untimely, timely because we need peace. Okay? We need peace. Peace is primordial. How I wish this victory came to pave the way for many positive things to follow. Because when I looked at the ambience at that Madu Ayijo Stadium the other day, last Sunday, with the presence of
Nijon Fundi and others,
Nijon Fundi and others, other elite of the region who don't speak the same political language, I begin to say to myself, how I wish these were transformed into the political milieu, such that better things come to the region or to the Anglophones. To end it, I want to say all is well that ends well. We wish and hope that the elite, they exploit the occasion. They use the letter which was written to PWD of Bamenda.
The letter written in English, It's important to note.
Well,
the language matters too.
Yeah, you know, when you talk to somebody in the language the person understands, it gets to the person's heart. But when you talk to the person in a language he hears, it gets to his head. So I think that letter gets to the heart of the people. And let many better things follow. It shouldn't just end at that letter, right? We have the Bamenda Badru Road. When you look at that bus, if the 55 million bus which was bought, if they have to go on 2-3 journeys, that bus on that road will be shattered. What can be done then to preserve that bus?
We shall organize another debate for the roads.
Thank you, Tabi.
Today we are talking PWD of Bamenda. Yes, Gislin, the letter?
You know, the letter came, I can say it was unexpected, but it did come. PWD winning was the sign of victory for the Northwest people, and also for Cameroon. And we know that even though it's their first time winning, it was something which was acceptable to the people. But then the letter came with so many controversies, because when the letter was published, people were like, the match was sold to the Abaka boys in Yaoundé as a sign of maybe appeasement to them. So many people see the letter as maybe, some people take it as a confirmation, I'll put that in quotes, as a confirmation to that selling of the match to them. But we know that that's not the case. The president of the country was actually congratulating the boys for a job well done and for the work they have been putting in. But actually, as the NS rightly said, it should be an opportunity where we should call for peace. The Northwest region has been suffering from crisis for close to 4 or 5 years today. And
6 years almost already.
6 years almost. And people have left the area, some people have been suffering, and there are other things which are happening. Women and children are crying. So if this letter comes as a way, really as a pavement for peace, then that's where we really say the President of the Republic is actually putting into practice.
The fact that the President writes in English is important?
Yeah, it's important because, you know, we have never really seen the President actually make a statement in English. So him expressing his letter in English, that shows that he accepts the people. And actually talking to someone in the language the person understands, the person actually gets to know that you share the same table with him, you share the same point of view with him. So I think that letter also written in English is something which the Northwesterners, the Anglophones have appreciated, and they are seeing that many more good things will come in with the letter.
We are one, Cameroon is one and indivisible. We are one and indivisible, one big family. The analysis that you are making of the letter, the President wrote to PWJ Obamenda?
Yeah, maybe the previous panelists already almost exhausted what I could say about the letter, but I really want to say the letter come at a time where Northwestern or the PWG team needs more than a letter, because they're training, that is where their base is. And if they have been training for all this while before having this match, under what conditions have they been training? You're congratulating them, yes, for a victory, but what actually do they face? Because this victory we're talking about football is competitive. It's a competitive game. And being competitive, which means everyone should be capable of having a very conducive environment to be able to compete with the other people. So addressing them the letter, yes, but how effective is the letter going to serve to the PW team? At this time, we think that what the PW team needs more is a solution of the out of the Anglophone crisis. It will help them more than congratulating them for having won the trophy, and not just at that level. But I think one thing which is most important is the Babaju Bamenda route, because if they have to play out, remember we don't have.
We are talking football.
Yes, of course, Mr. Tabi. This is part of football. Is also there's more politics in football than the politics we talk about. So you have to understand that. And you understand that the PWG, they are domiciled in the Northwest, and Northwest is not one of the sites that have been recommended for playing matches, which therefore means that after every match, they have to go back to their base. And like Mr. Ennis actually said, look at the condition of the bus that was being bought to them. It's not a brand new bus. And with the road which they are being, they are to ply on, how long will that bus last? So I think that the letter is being appreciated. But
the letter is a good thing.
But there is more.
Do you accept that it's a good thing?
Accept it is a good thing. Everybody, we expected the letter.
No, I want you as an individual.
Mr.
Are you accepting that?
As an individual,
yeah.
I expected that lesson. So it's the letter. So it's not something strange.
So you are not surprised with the letter?
I'm not surprised.
You are not surprised that the letter is written in English?
No.
Because most often people say the president does not speak English, does not write English, that the president has come out to prove you people
I'm not
wrong.
one of those fans of where the president writes English and they congratulate him. The Cameroon Constitution, which is the supreme fundamental norm of this country, stipulates, and it says that Cameroon, the language, first of all, says the language is French, English and French. It didn't even say French and English. So we have to accept that it is a fundamental right of the president. It's the right of the
president. We are not saying that he does not have the right to do so.
It's an obligation. Fundamental obligation of the president of the republic to address.
Prince Will, yes.
I want to say
both languages, so it shouldn't be.
Apparently, to you, the letter being written in English is the president should be congratulated for that.
No, nobody said that.
It's not novelty.
Nobody said that the president should be congratulated for that.
We just but say,
yeah.
if this is the beginning of a new journey better. But if it's like a hoax and coax, it makes no sense.
For example, do you know that during the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Cameroonian army in Bamenda in 2010, I think so, he spoke in English. In Boya, the president equally spoke in English.
We are a bilingual country.
How long did he speak in English when he was
David
in Bamenda?
Jackson.
At that point in time, I was still in secondary school. That I can remember.
I was in Bamenda.
Very well. So how long did he speak in English? How many times does the president make official appearances in a year?
So writing in English is a good thing.
No, Mr. Tabi.
He's supposed to, it's an obligation for him to write.
We are not saying that it is not an obligation, but we are saying that writing in English too.
Mr. Tabi,
It's a good thing.
Well,
if writing
Prince
in
was talking
English
of the constitution.
comes
It
with
is
other
enshrined
things.
that Cameroon is a bilingual country.
Okay.
But it's rather unfortunate that the bilingualism in Cameroon is not practical. Yeah, because those who supposed to...
You are a translator, NS Akufo. I know that you are a translator. So tell us, we are talking football. We are talking football, and the fact that PWG of Bamenda won the trophy, we can have some peace in the Northwest.
I, for one, I've said it, that we know the role sports in general, and then football in particular plays in bringing people together. Do you know, in the 90s, just for the fact that we performed exploits at the World Cup in Italy, it brought some peace to this nation? We should be proud of that. So this is an opportunity par excellence for the stakeholders. You get the point? To exploit.
Football is a unifying factor.
Football is a unifying factor. This as an opportunity, I say again, for the stakeholders to exploit. They can go through it. And fortunately, they have the president of Fcfa, who is very very dynamic. We can use this victory. We use the president of Fcfa. He comes in, but not like a politician, but like a supporter.
He's not a politician.
To appease the people.
Not a politician
to
anyway.
appease the people.
Samuel Eto'o is not doing politics.
Tabi Clapton is doable. It is doable. But
the president,
yes,
the president of Africa.
Well, by campaigning and
all of life is a politics, right? All of life is a politics. Because even back in your own home, there is the politics of management in your home. Because if you don't know how to, there are some headstrong children. You must know how to manage them, and in that management, it is
headstrong
politics.
children like NS Akufo.
Yeah.
Okay, football is a unifying factor. Prince, we all agree with that.
Of course. I want to even cite an example. I think it's yesterday, there was a match, I think it's Club Brugge, if I'm not mistaken. During that match, supporters actually carried banners which portrays that they want peace. I mean, when we talk about peace, like what is happening in Ukraine and Russia, between Ukraine and Russia, they carry, and they made mention of, when they talk about peace, it was not just peace like the word peace, but they wanted more into peace, because if they had to go by putting all the crises that have been happening, or the wars, they put Afghanistan, Libya, South Sudan, and they name a whole lot of this country, is because football has come to, not has come, but football is playing that role. Football has it has that backbone which plays a lot of role when it comes to peacekeeping, unifying people. Remember, who are the supporters? Of course, they are the citizens. And it's not because they're in the football field that changes them from being supporters. So I think that football plays a whole lot of role when it comes to peacekeeping. And don't forget, in Ivory Coast, when they had the war, you remember the person who had to bring support to bring peace was DJ Drogba, who was a footballer. And it's due to the fact that, due to football, and we've seen this a number of times, and I hope that the president of Fcfa we know that the power doesn't lie on him alone, but we hope that he too can come in at the point in time to see how he can tip in some effort to see how we can ameliorate this crisis, especially when this crisis has been moving for 6 years and is still going, and we are not seeing envisaging someday where it's going to
end.
Okay,
before we take a
Ghislaine,
NS Akufo, the fact that the president writes to PWG of Bamenda, is it not a call for the Amber Boys to drop their arms? That we are one, we are indivisible, we have problems, that we can settle it through dialogue.
Tabi Clarkson, in my small lessons of peace management, seeking peace is a process. You get the point. If you want to look at that letter like a hoax on the boys is
In the bushes.
in the bushes to come out. I think it is a process. It is a step towards the right direction. Okay, because I said and I continue saying that we need peace. Making peace doesn't necessarily mean that we shun away all what we've been talking about, right? We first of all get to the table in a peaceful manner, and then we talk things out. But if there is no peace, we can never talk things out, okay? So that letter may just be a step in the right direction.
A step in the right direction.
Yes.
Ghislaine, do you share that opinion?
Well, that's what we are praying for. That's what we are hoping that. We hope that the letter does not just come as maybe a form of quiet to just come, but it should come as a means, as an end to the means. It should not come because maybe he was coming to congratulate the boys. It's true, football is a unifying factor because we can see when Cameroon hosted the Cup of Nations that just passed. I can see the thousands of people who were always present at the field, even when even when Cameroon was not playing, even at homes and at various bars where people start to watch the matches. We can start football is something that brings people together.
And during that competition, when Cameroon was playing, when they actually scored goals, we had news that in the butches,
I heard one of the guys, somebody said there was a particular match when Cameroon actually scored. One of the boys is in the bushes actually shouted, and when the commander, as they call themselves, came out, I said, who won the match? He said, we won. And I said, who are you? So you see, at
the back of their mind that we are Cameroonians and we are one.
Football knows no color. It doesn't know any
religion,
tribe, anything.
No political party.
When you play football at the time, the joy it brings you become unconscious. It brings you. That is why we pray that with what the president of Fcfa is doing today, we hope that promoting football, trying to revive football back in Cameroon at when we're talking about the National League. We hope that it will go a long way to pave the way for peace, not only in the Northwest region and the Southwest region, but in other communities, because
even in the Far North, for example.
We don't have problems only in the Northwest and Southwest. We have intertribal or this how do we put it, where the Bamoons were being sent out.
For example, the Musgoums
and the like.
And the Arab Shwas.
We think that if football comes in, it will play a long way to
actually bring back peace. And for your last word on this issue before we move on.
The last word is
our two main topics.
The last word is you see, God knows how He does His things. Yes.
And God is good.
And everything God does, and everything God does is good. The victory, the letter, and then other measures coming thereafter is the handiwork of God, because His ways are unpredictable. I just but hope that the stakeholders, they know themselves, they better take this opportunity like a stepping stone, and then they move towards the right direction, because we have oversuffered in this world, Tabby Clarkson.
Yeah.
Yes, because
people have oversuffered.
you need to get down to the region before you know what we are talking about. Fortunately, I go there quite often. There are some people, they just in Yaoundé.
Those boys, they know you, they don't disturb you.
Tabby Clarkson, you can't say those boys know me. Yes, because if I admit they know me, it means...
because some politicians cannot go back home.
Yeah,
some elites cannot go back home. That is what I'm talking about.
It's not a matter of them knowing me.
Yeah,
because I won't tell you that I know them, because if I know them...
It's a matter of you doing what?
When you're a patriot, okay?
So those who are afraid of going back home,
they are not patriotic. They have skeletons in their cupboards. It's because they have skeletons in their cupboards, so they cannot get back there. Yeah, so because I don't have skeletons in my cupboard, that's why I move there freely. But if
so somebody like Ojambego is not going back home.
No, please. Did I tell you to call on?
Okay, well, Ada, can we have, of course, Ghislaine, your last word on this, Ghislaine?
Well, I would say that this letter or the winning of PWD, we need for them to win the cup should come as a way that we should bring peace to the region and the entire country as a whole. We know that talking to the boys sits in the bushes is not just talking and talking and talking. Because we have been talking and talking, and if we can keep talking till the next year.
So we need to talk and do what?
Yes, we should look for practical ways to bring out that peace. We should put in practical measures to ensure that the peace actually
when you talk
comes.
of practical means, what do you mean? We should put in what?
Dialogue. You see, there's something they say, they say in pidgin, not in past talk, and sincerely it is true. You see that even if you have an issue with somebody and you sit down that person and you get to talk it out, you get the person's point of view and you present your own point of view, you have something on the table to look at it. But if they don't come, if you two don't come and sit down, A makes the conclusion, B makes his own conclusions, you two continue to remain and longer
Not
and
enough
longer
past
head.
talk.
Not no past talk.
Please, your last word on this.
Mr. Tabi, the letter was a letter written, but I want more of the letter. Have you ever, maybe you've been doing this unconsciously, but if you notice, from the moment you pick a pen or a book, whatever thing you have in your hand, whether guns or machetes, you drop them down. You can't have the two.
The pen is more powerful than the gun anyway.
So I believe that the letter should bring more than what the letter itself carries, so that we can get lasting peace and solutions, and we can enjoy football and see more often of these letters, not only in French, but why not even address even the letter, why not only English, but why not even address the letter in French to someone from the Northwest? I think that the choice of the language to use, whether English or French, it is not really something to jump and dance about, but what we want is the content of the letter and what the letter can push forward. Because if the major national dialogue, which was convened with a letter bigger than this one, had not brought peace yet, I think that we need more than this letter. Thank you.
And all the same, I'm using this occasion to say thank you, Mr. President, for writing this letter, because I want to believe that it's a step towards peace. Those of you watching us from Saw, from Baful, from Batibo, from Bamenda, from Kumba, from Tiko, from Bali, from Limbe, please, we need, from Awing, we need peace. Peace is important for development to come true. Well, we shall be talking the teachers, but before we talk the teachers, can we have this report? The report on the teachers.
The teachers have spoken and the government has answered. That is why a battery of government officials sat together last evening at a press conference to inform the teachers and the public at large about the measures taken by the head of state to address their worries. The teachers' strike action, which has been nicknamed Kmer, is born by long-standing administrative and financial grievances.
This teachers' strike action included a number of demands, the main ones being the following: the immediate payment of the debt owed to teachers, amounting to 181 billion CFA francs, representing area salaries, advancements, family allowances, and other bonuses. The revision, improvement of the special status of teachers, as well as its harmonization with teachers' aspirations. Special status of teachers. The automatic adjustment of teachers' salary to the fluctuation of our economy. The increase of the base salary of teachers to 280,000 francs CFA for category A2 and 250,000 CFA francs for category A1.
To convince the teachers to pick up their chalks again, the President of the Republic has told the Minister of Finance to progressively pay out all the dues owed the striking teachers.
Financial side, to proceed with the payment as for March 2022 of the monthly salary supplements owed to teachers with or without integration decrease, who currently receive only 2/3 of their salary, and the payment of the housing allowance owed to the teachers who are yet to receive it, to clear as from May 2022 and in a progressive manner, taking into account the order precedents in their promotions, the arrears of housing allowance and salary supplements owed to the teachers. To proceed with the payment in installments from June 2022 onwards of the advancement areas owed to teachers.
Firm instructions have also been given to the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reforms to handle as a matter of urgency all pending integration files of the concerned teachers.
The Head of State has instructed the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reform to systematize the compiling of integration files for teachers before the end of their training.
These new financial and administrative measures come to add to an earlier action taken on Monday, March 7th by the head of state, who then had instructed the Minister of Finance to disburse the sum of 2.7 billion francs CFA to solve the concerns of teachers.
Teachers strike. What is blocking? What is blocking the way for teachers to get back to their classrooms? That is our second topic, or real first topic of the day. I'll begin with you, Prince Will. Teachers are striking. You are a teacher. Tell us, teachers always strike, eh? I have the impression that they always strike, the teachers. What is blocking teachers for going back to their classrooms?
Thank you, Mr. Tabi. This is a very delicate matter that when it concerns teachers. Who are teachers to begin with? These are people who actually pass on knowledge from one generation to another. These are people who actually orientate and shape our community the way it has to look like. If you are a medical doctor today, it's because you had a teacher. If you are a journalist today, it's because you had a teacher. If you are a driver today, it's because you had a teacher at the driving school. So if you're a president today, it's because you had a teacher who actually orientated you, gave you that mindset for you to reason the way you're reasoning, for you to see things the way you're seeing it, and for the development of our community. To cut it short and that type of, to give that very glimpsy definition. But we are in the situation wherefore these are the category of people that mold our society, but they are considered, when we come to our own community, that's Cameroon we are talking about, as one of the least great civil servants. Now, in this case, we're talking about teachers, at the, those from the public sector. If we want to look at those even at the private sector, it's even more worse than that. But that, we don't want to go to that because the regulations in place, especially the labor code, does not even give a room for those at the private sector to even breathe. So let's talk about this, the ones at the public sector. Teachers have been on strike. There are some who have gone for 40 years, 42 years, you will not believe it, without a salary. Others have gone for 10 years, 15 years.
42 years without a salary?
Of course, there is. If you want, you're a journalist, I think you're more versed with that. So, if you don't want to accept...
Are they not exaggerating?
If you don't want to take 42 years, Mr. Tabi, we...
I think for 42 years? Without a salary? And you're in Yaoundé?
Well, he may not be exaggerating, because when he talks of not going for 42 years without a salary, it means you are not being paid commensurately. Okay? Suppose you're supposed to have been given 280 or 250. Then at every time they are giving you 180,000 francs. Are you being paid? What does that represent? Virtually nothing, right? You get indebted because to rent a house, to feed yourself, to medication, paying taxi fare to work and all the like. Anyway, there's a minister who said we could survive with 36,000 francs, whereas he feeds his dog with more than that amount. Can you imagine?
The dog per day or per
day? Per day.
So, should I write
Yes,
that?
yes.
So, some have actually gone for 10 years, even if it's 2 years, France, Mr. Abi. We live in a country where for you are a parent and you have children who have to go to school. You have to buy them books. You have a family to feed on. You have your health to take care of and other facilities to do on with. I'm not thinking about those luxuries. I think about the basic necessities. And you go for a month without a salary, but like Mr. Ernest was saying, some may go without any salary. I've met people like that, colleagues who actually, unfortunately, I'm a teacher in a higher institution, but I've met colleagues at the level of the secondary education, primary education, or basic education, if you want to put it that way, who have gone for 3 years without a salary.
Without a franc,
Not a franc. What they live on the house teaching, that's after school. It might be so surprising, but that is what Cameroonians go on their daily, everyday activities. It may look so strange, but that is a reality. But what is so baffling is the fact that after all this while they have tried to persevere, and a minister comes up and says, the Minister of Communication actually says, this little strike, Mr. Tabi, how does it sound to you? Somebody who has gone for years without touching his salary that he actually worked for. Okay, we live in that community, an African community.
So it's not a little strike.
Mr. Tabi, an African community is that one which
Prince
parents actually, when the parents actually groom their children and hope that when they are growing, they are aging, their children will actually take care of them. Imagine our parents who sold jama at the big market.
I want us to come back to the word little. No, I want us to come back
Yes.
there. It is not a little strike anyway. The minister did not mean it that way. It is not a little strike.
Is there
he said so. He said so. Where?
Is it 2 minutes? No, we just had the report. You
Yeah.
heard it. I don't think I formulated that.
Do you
heard it? So
you got it well? Are you sure you got it well?
Mr. Tabi, well, let's proceed. Remember, we're in that African society where parents believe that while aging, the children that they suffered or they went through trauma or other activities, to raise them or will actually be the ones to take care of them. Imagine your mother who went to the farm in Moyoka, in Tico, and spent all her life selling the Big Mom market to see you go to school. I want to take myself as an example. And tomorrow I become a teacher. I pass one of these competitive examination, hoping that tomorrow I'll help my parents. And I work for 4 years without a salary. And when I decide one day to peacefully ask for my salary to be, or some amendments should be made so that I can have my salary, and I am being told that someone is being manipulating me behind to ask for this money. That notwithstanding, not only that, but what is more provocating is that you don't even want to look at them. Besides, the president didn't give a fixed date, because it is not only the teachers who are striking. Remember, we are in a country where the medical doctors are striking. We're in a country where the drivers are striking.
No, we are talking about teachers.
We are talking about teachers. The point I want to make is that the president actually says, the information that we had that the president said, because it was under high instructions, the president hasn't said anything yet. Under high instruction, the president says that teachers should go back to class, they go back to their classrooms, and they'll be paid
as from the 22nd.
No, they say in March, right? They say on the month of March.
As from the 22nd, anyway. On Tuesday.
Yes, Mr. Tabi.
No, it is clear. It is clear.
Let me proceed.
Yeah, because you said there was no date. There is a date.
No, there is a date, and it's approaching. But some of the teachers say no. We have to wait and see, because it's not the first time which they have gone through. They have actually come out to ask for their salaries to be paid, and nothing was being done.
Okay.
So at this level, I think that what the president should do, they should stop all the intimidation which they are carrying on teachers, because we have seen instances where a senior divisional officer will go out there, meet a teacher, someone who has toiled and gone through trauma, in order to see the same person who is a senior divisional officer to be where he or she is, tell them that I was expecting that while coming to address you guys, somebody who has actually collected his mission allowance, has petrol bunk that is being given to him every day, and the teachers who actually taught him go to school on food, don't even house allowances, and you tell them that upon coming in, they were supposed to clap for you and cheer you with a song. And who are they even to strike? What position did they actually fit in the committee where they are?
You are not alone here, please.
Yes, of course.
We have heard you. No, we are coming back to you.
We have solutions.
We are coming back to you, Prince Will.
Okay,
we are coming back to you. The time for us to have Ghislaine.
Hopefully.
Yes, Ghislaine, tell us, how do you feel about the teacher strike? What is blocking? teachers for going back to their classrooms?
I'll be sincere, the situation is very disheartening because my dad is a teacher. And I know what it means to have a teacher as a parent. I know the efforts they put in. I know the days we don't go to school, and my dad is very pissed with us that, why are you not going to school? That pray your teachers take their time, prepare notes, come to teach you, and you're at home. What do you think? What are you doing? So when I sit and I see the teachers going for years without being paid, sincerely, it's really disheartening because if I am where I am today, it's thanks to a teacher. I had a teacher right from home. You know, when you go to school, you come back, you don't understand. My dad does his best to try to explain to you. That's how far the teachers go to ensure that the knowledge they impact, it doesn't just get to your head, but it sticks into your head, and you should be able to reproduce that tomorrow. So the situation to see them strike, it means that...
The government has recognized...
government has recognized their cry. It's not the first time it is happening. They have given the date. They said from March 22nd, as you said, it's Tuesday. It's days away. It's just some few. I'll say it's hours away from the 22nd of March. But why do you have to wait until the teachers get to that point where they have to strike before you start recognizing their cry? What has been going on throughout the years that it's now that they have to, it's an outcry that has to bring a solution to their problems. The teachers are there. That's a call which I should think should be the most prestigious that we should have. A sector which has to be the most valued ever in the society. But yet they tend to neglect them.
The daughter of the teacher is speaking. The daughter of the teacher is speaking.
That I'm proud of. But they tend to neglect them. I'm sorry, I'll put that. They tend to neglect them. They try to ignore them. And it has gotten to the extent where even the students, well, I've seen cases where the students had to say no. They should listen to the cry of the teachers because they are tired. You know what it means?
The government has listened to the cry
and we are.
Let them go back to classes.
Going back to class is something they would definitely do because we know the teachers we have, and we know that they have their heart, and they know what it means. They also pay school fees, and they know what it means to send your child to school and the teacher does not come. So they will definitely going back to class. But what is the guarantee or the assurance of them going back to class?
As from Tuesday, they will have their money.
And what if on Tuesday they don't have that money? What happens? Will the strike continue?
There is a timetable for that.
The issue should be, a solution should not be now. They should look for, the government should look for a long-lasting solution.
Yes.
In the next 5 years, are we sure the same thing will not happen? In the next 10 years, are you sure we will not have a reoccurrence of this same strike effect?
Certainly, Ernest Akufo will answer that question.
Okay. I'm waiting for the answer.
Ernest Akufo. The teachers.
Yes, the teachers. I saw my brother Prince really talking with a lot of passion, and because he knows what he's talking about. You see, when I grew up to know teachers, there were people in society who were to be venerated. Because in the early 70s, when I looked at teachers were like demigods. But today, the teachers have been watered down and they represent virtually nothing in the society.
And who is responsible for that?
Either the pupils or the children are beating up on the teacher. Either you find the gendarmes or the police harassing them. Either you find parents harassing them.
If a student beats a teacher, who is responsible for that?
Excuse me, Tabi Clarkson. Excuse me. That just shows how our society is. Garbage in, garbage out. That reflects our society. Because if you have a society where a pupil, a student has to beat up the teacher, how did it manage to arrive at that point? It is because of the way society has been set up. When you see the teachers refusing to get back to class, it's because government is acting on bad faith. That should be very clear. Why did they have to take all this while for the government?
What do you call bad faith?
Bad faith in the sense that, I've once, I think all of us here, maybe either a home teacher or a classroom teacher, have done both. I know what I'm talking about. When you go mark scripts, either first school living, common entrance, GCE, then you come back, you stay for a whole year before you wait. You go on the streets before they have to pay you. Is that not bad faith? Why must the money be accumulated to be paid to you only after you get to the streets? It is bad faith.
Of which
the money is there. The money is there. And government doesn't go to look for that money elsewhere. During registration, either common entrance, first school, GCE, all of the money is paid by the pupils and the students.
Maybe we have other important issues to settle.
Okay, I get you. I get you. Okay, I get you.
More important issues are the future of the
More
society.
important.
Buy gas.
And listen. What happened during AFCON when they fooled around into the school system? That's one of the worst things that has ever happened in this nation. I'm talking to the officials. That was a wrong decision.
That what?
When students had to stop school at midday because everybody had to go watch football. What is the rapprochement between football and education? The president once said, football to footballers, school to scholars. Why did he have to bring the two?
Because it was a feast that Cameroonians were waiting for long.
Excuse me.
The last time we organized, it was in 1972.
Did you stop coming to work to go and watch football?
Excuse me, Tabi Clarkson. When you want to, I don't know, be on the side of the oppressor, I don't buy that idea. Okay, the students wasted a month during AFCON for nothing. Now they've been going for 3 weeks without classes. Do you know how the consequences on the output of the students? It is too consequential. But the people sit in their air-conditioned offices. They just sign decisions. From next Monday, from midday, everybody close work. You go watch football. How many people from all of that went to watch football? Some even at home, they don't watch. So I want to say, the decisions which government is arriving
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, I'm all yes.
The last time Cameroon organized, before the 2021, it was in 1972.
Yes, 50 years after.
50 years after, was it not important for all of us to join in the feasting?
I'm sorry to say, not the
excuse me. Was it not important for all of us to join?
Yeah, in the feasting.
Can I throw back a rhetorical one at you? The rhetorical one will be, how many Cameroonians had the fallbacks of AFCON? Very few.
All of us?
No, sir. Very few because...
When you see the Olympic Stadium, the Olympic Stadium is there for the youths of tomorrow. Youths will be playing there.
What complex?
Excuse me. Yeah, the field is there for the youths.
Yeah. So
the debts which were contracted, the youths will be the ones to pay back the debts. It is not our money which was invested there. They borrowed money from elsewhere, Exim Bank China, to build that complex. And the youths will have to pay that debt for years, more than years to come. So I want to say, to land, the measures the government is taking, they are laudable, although belated, right? Yeah, they're belated.
So you're asking teachers to go to class now? Are you asking teachers to go to class?
Do you permit me talk?
Yeah.
It's preconditional.
That what?
Preconditional for teachers to get back to class. There must be an MOU. You get the point? Because it's fabulous. We're talking about fabulous sums of money, almost 200 and something billions. There must be a memorandum of understanding between the teachers and the government officials as per the modalities of payment. And if that MOU is engaged, then the teachers don't even have to cover up without making extra hours.
Okay. Ghislaine, before I take you, Principal Ghislaine, the teachers, you just listen to Ernest Akufo saying that it was a mistake to stop classes at midday.
That I'll support. It was really a mistake. Because, you know, a school year has a curriculum. Yeah. And teachers have to prepare their lessons according to that curriculum. And there's a time frame. They expect that in the first year for 3 months, students have to take maybe the first sequence, the second, in a stipulated time.
Tabi Clarkson, let me come. The school year has almost 872 hours. And the teachers do their programming on those 872 hours. And when they already miss 100 hours out of the 800 hours.
We can extend.
Extend to when?
Okay.
Extend to when? Let's see. Okay, the teachers prepare their lessons. Now, a teacher has 2 hours to teach a class. That class maybe is from 11 to 1 p.m. I tell the teacher to stop at midday. Definitely, there's excess work on the teacher at the same time on the student. Now, the student has to take a continuous assessment. That student has to go and prepare. The teacher did not maybe complete that lesson. What happens to the students who don't have the means? I'm sorry, who don't have the means to actually prepare? Some don't have textbooks. They depend solely on the notes their teachers bring to class. So a child who comes to class and the child does not teach, goes back home, the child has incomplete lessons. Now the child comes, What the child has, the child writes. A teacher comes, give the continuous assessment on what has, in fact, he can say what he has given as lessons. Children don't make it. Now the teachers have a plight. It seems like they are wasting their time. It seems like it's energy wasted because they are doing their best, but the students cannot pick up because the time is being limited. You cannot say a football feast. We know a feast.
50 years after.
50 years after that, it's for enjoyment, but it's not for everybody. Mr. David Class, you can organize a feast, but I decided not to come.
It was a Cameroonian feast.
It's a Cameroonian feast, but
for Cameroonians.
I'll have to ask, how many times did you stop coming to your office to go and watch the match at the stadium?
I went there.
How many times? But not on several occasions, but at your convenience. What was that same measure also left as a point of choice to the teachers and the students to make it?
Don't forget that nothing past talk, eh? Okay, yes.
Do you know why? I think you also went through this this very experience, like myself. Do you know why our parents used to beat us when we come back from school and we go and play? It is because it is normal that after lessons, you need to rest, digest what you studied in class, and then maybe do some revision. But imagine the situation wherefore you stop lessons at midday and you have to rush, most of them. Fortunately and unfortunately for some people, fortunately for me, I had to leave it with my own eyes. Some students left their classrooms and came directly to the stadium with their school uniforms. And remember, most of the matches which were played in Yaoundé, especially at the Olembe Stadium, were played in the evenings. So imagine a child, is a pupil or a student who leaves classes midday, doesn't go back home, comes to the stadium, right? Without digesting what he or she actually studied in class. Then at 8 p.m., I applaud the fact that the government brought some measures at a particular period of time that we have online classes that were supposed to be taken. But Mr. Tabi Classing, we're in a country where you hardly have light for 6 hours per day. So what happens to that student who leaves the classroom, goes to the stadium and watches the match, leaves and go back home, there's no light. In the morning, what do you think he will return back to school? And then
learning without play makes Jack a dull boy anyway.
Yes, there is no problem.
It's true that we are talking on the teachers' strike.
Yes,
the teachers.
I'm coming back to the teachers. Yeah. Now, you put all this workload on these teachers because they have to do catch up, but you don't want to pay them. The question I want to ask, because your question is, what is actually blocking the teachers? Now, let's ask the question to ourselves. Mr. Tabi, every year, the National Assembly approves the government budgeting, which includes the teachers' salaries. So, if every year the National Assembly, because we are Republican citizens, like myself, I'm thinking I'm one of the first Republican citizens. And if I'm saying this, it's because I'm a Republican citizen. I want to see Cameroon move forward. I don't want to see teachers and students. How do you expect see your own child moving on the road? I want to accompany the teachers that's striking. How does it sound to you? If a cow crushes them down, what are we going? Who is going to lose? So, being a Republican citizen that I am,
we are all Republicans.
Yes, or being the Republican citizens that we are, we want to also ask those other citizens who are out there, who are governing us. We don't know if they are Republican or not. But let the answer to us this question and to Cameroonians as a whole, Cameroonian in general. Let them tell us, because the National Assembly approves the budget, which includes the teacher's salary. So where does this money actually go to? Now we have other parts or other organs or other administrative organs in the country, which we don't see. Their money never disappears. You have administrators such as the DOs, the governors. Their monies have never disappeared. There's never a day. Parliamentarians, you have never heard them say that they have not paid our money. Why teachers? So where is this money going to? Where have they kept the money? And the teachers have been striking for as long as possible, and you tell them, no, wait for right up to this particular time, go back to classes, and we will have to see what to do. Mr. Tabi, the question I want to ask
let them go back.
We have
the advice you are giving to teachers is what? Okay, we are ending on this.
We are
ending on this. Yes, we are ending.
We have other budgetary lines in the country where money is being found. Why is it delaying to pay the teachers the allowance? Yes, Mr. Tabi.
You know that peace is good now.
Of course.
Okay. Of course. As peace is good, the advice that you are giving to teachers is what?
Mr. Tabi, if I have to be more Republican, which I will not like you to push me to that Republican to that extent. Because if I had to go to that extent, I would tell the teachers, Monday is close to Tuesday. It's just some few hours. Please persevere till Tuesday and see if your money will come out. as from the perspective of a very Republican citizen. But now, if I have to be a Cameroonian who wants to look at things and look at other things, I will tell the teachers that, as it is now, put down your complaints and let's see how it goes. But if we have to be honest, Mr. Tabi, the teachers have suffered a lot that I don't think they deserve to go back to class without their salary. Because if that's SDO, senior division, DO, they have their salaries. And the funniest thing is that these people who are holding
teachers do something?
Their children don't go to these schools.
They should persevere. They have persevered for years.
Let them continue persevering.
Let them persevere again.
And if you are the landlord,
go back to class.
If a teacher who lives in your house as a tenant comes back and tell you, I don't have money, then will you persevere?
The advice that you are giving to teachers.
Yes, I think before I come to the piece of advice, which I think they will heed to, before I come to that, do you know how many teachers fall bush? Rhetorical question. Rhetorical question. Don't answer that. Yeah. So we'll answer that next time, right?
Yes.
Teachers, we know you applied. It's difficult.
Talk like a Republican, eh?
I'm talking like a Republican.
Okay.
More so a patriot, okay? Yeah, the plight is there. We share in your compassion. In spite of the odds, I do well think that it were time you have that human feeling towards the children, because you're building the society. I think if for the past years, some have gone for 20, 30 years, some have died, you've been enduring. I do think that Tuesday is not far from now. Please, could you get back to class tomorrow? Why? Because in January, February, a month was lost. I call it a lost month because with the 2 shifts, those who were coming to school in the afternoon, they never went to school. For 3 weeks now, 3 weeks have been lost. We have children in examination classes, and the examination questions have already been set, and the syllabus is not going to be covered, except that the school year will be extended. And the more you extend the school year, it means that teachers in the private,
there will be no holidays anyway.
There will be no holidays, and teachers in the private or the managers of the private institutions will have to cough out much money to cover that gap.
But they have many.
My dear teachers, I share in your plight, but I think at one point in time, accept. It's better to do a bad settlement than to go for a court case. Yeah. A bad settlement is better than a court case. And then for the officials, for the stakeholders, you don't bully at people when you get to the negotiating table.
Okay, we have heard you.
Yes, because when the minister told them, when they are striking, they shouldn't exaggerate.
Allow the minister. We have heard you. Jesslyn, you know, not in past talk. We are concluding on this topic with you, Jesslyn. The advice I are giving to teachers. You as a daughter of a teacher.
I know the sacrifices the teachers are putting in to ensure that those who they try to impact knowledge into should become what they deserve to be. I had a child who once told me that when I look at you now and I imagine that you were my student years back, I'm proud to say that I produced a good product in the society. Excellent. So I can say that the teachers should keep doing what they have to do. They should keep being responsible and they should keep impacting that knowledge. Because if they don't do that, that means we are going to lose a generation which is going to greatly affect our society. So they should continue. They should continue doing what they have to do, and we pray.
That on Monday they should go back to class now.
I think they should continue doing what they have to do. I will pray. I will know that their cries are going to be answered. That's what I will tell the teachers.
You permit me say hi to our Teachers Association. They are meeting this.
That is an advert that you have to.
Yes. Our Teachers Association under the patronage of Dr. Ngonganang Charles, very dynamic young man. They had their meeting this afternoon at the Peace Home Academy in Yaoundé, and they came out with very powerful resolutions. We just but wish that those resolutions be implemented for the betterment of the teachers' situation in Awing, not only Awing, because if Awing develops, Santa subdivision develops. If Santa develops, the Northwest develops. If the Northwest develops, Cameroon develops. It's a whole chain, right?
It's a chain.
Correct.
We say thank you for that, but we shall be talking the National Assembly before we finally pack our luggages tonight. We still have something like 15 minutes. The National Assembly, but before the National Assembly, can we have this report of Bertrand Tita? The report.
The eldest member, Honorable Kwamfege Laurentine Bede, presided over the plenary session, update the election of the Speaker, Right Honorable Kavayege Jibril, after his re-election, expressed gratitude to the head of state and the hierarchies of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, the CPDM, for the confidence bestowed on him to lead the affairs of the lower house of parliament for another year.
Nobody is surprised if this political party is winning the majority of responsibilities inside this bureau. So we cannot be surprised by the same thing every year. They have the majority, and it is normal that they win the majority of posts or of responsibility inside this bureau.
Once elected the House Speaker, he took over and chaired the proceedings and the rest of the electoral process that saw the election of executives of the 10th legislature.
Changed and re-elected the Right Honorable Speaker, Kabayege Jibril. I think he's the right person. He's a father, he's loving, he's caring, and he has mastered the parliamentary work. So he's the right person. And for the replacement of our late Honorable Lifaka, we have a newcomer into the House of Presidents, Honorable Boyali Lifaka.
First Vice President, 5 Vice Speakers, 4 Quaestors, 12 Secretaries were equally elected by members of the lower house of assembly.
Today, because everything is set, and when the bureau is elected, work goes on very smoothly. And our candidate was a natural candidate. From up to down, we are all behind him, because we know the work he has done for all this time has been. So there was no reason for change. With the permanent bureau in place, the National Assembly can begin examining bills and voting laws as spelled out by the standing orders of the lower house of parliament.
Kavayege Jibril has been re-elected again. It's not a surprise, Gisli, as Kabali B was speaking a while ago.
Mr. Tabi, you see, I've dropped my tone because since I was born, that's the name I've been hearing. Now I have a fear that I'll give birth to my children, that's the name they'll come and hear. Are they trying to say that there are no other people in the parliament, in the House of Assembly, who are being competent enough to become House Speaker? It's a question. It's a question mark. There's a question mark behind it.
Another rhetorical
question. Yes, for next time. We know, if we say Cameroon, we are training leaders of tomorrow. The youth should be the leaders of tomorrow. And you don't give them the opportunity. How do they get to exercise their sense of leadership? If you pick someone and you maintain, it kind of becomes an ancestral something. You maintain the same person over and over and over. No, someone once said somewhere that try somebody else, let the person come with his own, her own ideas, and definitely that person will come and make a difference. One person cannot be completely bad. There must be one thing you will do which will create a change and which will be an impact, and it will make a difference in the society. Bring somebody else. Why don't you try somebody else? Let the person come. Let's see what that person has to offer. And then next time, if the reports are not good, we say, okay, this person came, the person not doing something good, you will step down and we put somebody else. But when we have the same person, we have the same faces we see every day, January to December, another year to the next year, another year to the next year. Are they trying to tell us that that person is the only one who has the head and somebody else cannot bear that crown?
The majority wins the vote.
Majority wins the vote.
In any democracy.
Yeah, it's true. Majority wins the vote. But what are we trying to say? In that majority, is there not someone else who can also lead that majority team? Is it a permanent something? Is it a matter of permanency? That one person, because it's a majority that wins the vote, one person has to be there to continue leading. A shepherd also changes. He has a subordinate. He cannot be the shepherd all the time. When we pray God the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, at times you sit and you say, Holy Spirit, help me. At times you call Jesus Christ, help me. It does not mean that there are two different people. It's one person, but we know that there's somebody else at a point in time that comes. So why don't they try to look for somebody else? Why don't they put somebody else that can come and try your own best and let's see what you can also offer to the Cameroonian society?
Ernest Akufo? The National Assembly, so that we are talking a coalition of opposition parties, what do you think they can do? This coalition made up of a Kabali B, of Joshua Osi, the SDF, and the CDU of the late Damu Joya.
Tabi Clarkson, before I come to your question, I think what the cacophony, let me call it that way, that took place at the Assembly and the Senate yesterday, it makes me take a deep breath. Because Ghislaine was saying when she was born, she started hearing the very names she's hearing. Well, it's rather unfortunate, that's Cameroon. People are crawling, yet they are the ones who are supposed to be there. Someone once said democracy is the dictatorship of the majority over the minority. That's just what is happening at the National Assembly. Because you see the obese majority of the CPDM, which is playing over the majority of...
that would be a debate for another day.
Yes.
Today we are talking the coalition of...
coalition. I say, we want to talk about that coalition. It creates no achicancy. There is no impact on that. When Cameroonians needed these people to coalesce together, to come like one, to fight that rotten system, many people, they stayed aloof. Cabral never wanted to be part of it. The SDF never wanted to be part of it.
The CDU?
The CDU never wanted to be part of it. But if today they get to assembly at what time, how many of them are there?
Is it too late?
It's too late. It's belated. They can have no impact. That's just a digression, a distraction. Do you know what they want to do? You know, there's a minister in charge of parliamentary issues, right? They want to get some small quits from him now. There is nothing more than that. They just want to make the people feel that they can bring some heat, unnecessary heat, because that heat will create no difference. It cannot impact. You see, when they were doing the elections into the various 23-man bureau, you can count how many opposition leaders, opposition parties constitute that 23-man bureau. Because why do they supposed to give you? The politics in Cameroon at the National Assembly now is the winner takes it all. Whereas in modern democracies, you bring the people on board. The people
is our democracy not modern?
What are you talking about? We have advanced democracy, but not modern democracy. Between advanced and modern,
what is the difference,
Well, I'm not doing a political course here, but I think we'll have debate for that sometime in future.
Yeah.
So I want to say, let's be serious about what we're talking about.
That coalition can bring nothing.
The coalition has no impact at the National Assembly. That coalition could have been impactful during elections. Because if that coalition has to really work, let them just keep it up and wait for 2025. But if they think that they'll change something at the Assembly, they're just throwing water on a duck's back.
Nothing will change with the coalition, Prince Will, in the Assembly?
Mr. Tabi, I still admire the worth of Honorable Cabral Libi. So we don't get surprised by the same thing every day. That goes a long way to tell you that we live in an era where our National Assembly seems to have been hijacked by some group of people who call themselves that they are from a particular party. And I imagine you talk about democracy. I don't know if it's demo-crazy or it's democracy. Because we live in an era where, what are the organs, what are the rules, or what are the functions of a parliamentarian? That is someone who is being elected by people of his community to represent them. But when you are being elected by your people, you go and represent the aspiration of a particular political party who voted you. How does this sound from that angle? Which therefore means, talking about coalition at the level of the National Assembly, it is even, first of all, at this level, I think it's something not to really talk much about, because before they even began, they already have protests. There are already people who are contesting that the law which they actually cite does not suit for the formation of a parliamentary group. So they already have a bone of contention before they even begin. Remember, the parliamentary group they have not voted those who are supposed to head it yet? No. It hasn't been voted. And the law is clear. Some people hold that.
As per the standing orders of the National Assembly, to constitute a parliamentary group must have at least 15 parliamentarians, but no opposition political party has 15 parliamentarians.
Now, at the level now...
So it means, it means that those standing orders have to be reviewed. Because if the best majority of the CPDM think that, okay, nobody has up to 15 parliamentarians, and then all the others, you're just...
an obese majority that is deserved anyway.
Maybe that is where...
That is what?
Maybe that is where...
deserved.
You voted for them?
No, I did not.
Especially those of my region of origin, they are handpicked.
They did not vote there?
They don't represent anybody. I'm sorry to say it.
The last elections were held when there was serious crisis.
I didn't see it.
The people who were there, how did they come? Where were they?
The MP of our wing, that our friend.
In the heat of the crisis.
Excuse me, President. He is not representing our wing.
He is representing
a constituency.
Yeah, the constituency
is what?
Unfortunate. The constituency is what?
Two, something of that sort.
Maybe I
which is Santa. Sorry,
okay, cool.
Unfortunately, most of the parliamentarians from the northwest regions, they don't even know their constituencies. They can challenge.
They don't represent the people.
They don't represent. If they were representing the people, the current war, they could have talked to the people and get to the people's hearts, and the people will follow them. But since they don't represent the people, they cannot even get to the field.
They cannot go to a wing as free as you do.
I have never seen my parliamentarian in our
Okay, maybe I should just ride on. So maybe I want to tie with you the point where you say it seems like what they are trying to do is like bring some awareness, try to make them their existence just to call for attention. But I also want to cast some doubt at the level of those who are on this coalition, because if you remember, this coalition was it was born during the I think it's the UNDC workshop that was
workshop to see into it
and the celebration. And remember, when we talk about the caliber of people who were at this meeting that suggested all this, you have the Professor Maurice Kamto, you have Honorable Krabali, who is also a jurist, Honorable Joshua Osing, who has been in the parliament for as long, and most of them are those people who have that mastery of it. But the problem is the problem at this level is what will be the impact that even if this parliamentary group will, even if it's being constituted, what will be the impact that it will carry to solve the present situation? And
so the
tying this with what is happening with the re-election of the president of the National Assembly, I think that I don't want to castigate it all together, but there is some sort of a game that is like in the pipeline coming, because we are in that era in Cameroon where we are
not talking the game, we are talking the coalition.
Yes, of course, but the coalition has a lot of things to do.
Coalition of the opposition parties in parliament.
Remember, we are in Cameroon, we are in that era where I don't think you're sleeping, you're a journalist, so we think we are expecting a transition, political transition. We
are not talking anything
and if
of
we are
that
expecting
here,
a political
please.
transition, pardon?
We are not talking that today.
No, we are not talking that today, but then what is happening in the National Assembly has a whole lot of strings attached to what I'm talking about. So we are expecting an era of transition, and if this transition has to come, remember we have a government who has been, or a regime who has been in power for as long as possible. Everybody knows that the regime will go down. But where would I find myself? Am I useful today? What impact am I creating? Am I calling attention to around myself?
Okay,
that's why I look at
that's an interpretation that you are making.
Yes, I'm an analyst. I'm analyzing from my point of view. Look at what happened. The group that was being constituted. Remember, one of the members of the group, Honorable Nietzsche, when as contesting the president of the National Assembly, but without the knowledge of the same people who they have formed a group.
They had one vote.
They have formed a group, not so Mr. Tabi.
They had just one vote.
How does it look like to you? We form a group, 4 of us on this panel, not so, and we go out there just in front here, and I decide to do something which is in connection with this group without informing the 3 of you.
Okay, we are ending on this topic. We are concluding the program. We have 3 more minutes. Each speaker will have a minute. I'll begin with you, Shislin, because they say we always begin with women. I'll begin with you.
Mr. Tabi, you see, the issue with the National Assembly, I'll say, Cameroonians should become reawakened. If they are not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, I don't know what they are hoping for. You cannot hope for something where you are not working for it. What you work for is what you get at the end. So Cameroonians should put in that effort. If they are crying for a change, they should put in that effort to see that a change comes to pass. We can only talk and talk and talk. They need practical efforts to see that that change they are asking for should actually be realistic.
Are you asking people to be rebels or what?
I'm not asking people to be rebels because, you know, if you're being a rebel, rather, there's more of destruction. It's more of destruction. But let's be sensible. Let's be realistic. Let's be okay. Ask yourself personal questions. If you're doing this thing, what impact are you creating? As Mr. Prince said, if I have to do this thing, what impact am I creating for the society? What am I leaving for the generation of tomorrow? Because what we do today will affect the generation of tomorrow and those to come. So what they should be doing, they should know that they should take into consideration that there's a generation, there's a future ahead. So they should look into that future and see that whatever they are doing, whatever decisions they are making, should be that which will favor not just them, but those for tomorrow.
Nothing past talk. Okay, your last word before we
go. Remember we're talking about teachers. I want to use this opportunity to send not really congratulations, but I want to send my heartfelt. I'm with you guys, the teachers, and especially teachers like Mr. Jacob Anon. With you guys should be strong enough. Mr. Bushu, you guys should be strong enough. Mr. Njangden Istabe is also a teacher, and all the teachers out there. Please, we have that responsibility, that obligation to mold the Cameroon of tomorrow. It's true, we always say that the youth are the future of tomorrow. It's not a lie, but we have to try to see that we get to that level where we'll cross the bridge. But guys, please just be who you are, and I think that we're going to have a change someday.
So you have cited names, Anon Jacobs, Jan Denis Tabe,
Bushu,
Mr. Bushu, Mr. Bushu,
yes,
and all the teachers of Cameroon. Go back to class on Monday, please. We are pleading anyway. Your last word before we go in, Sakufo?
Yes, Tabi, it was nice being on the panel today. My parting words, I think they'll go to the National Assembly again, because my ears have gotten read that there will be amendments on the Constitution. And when you look at the obese majority of the CPDM, just know that anything that will be brought in like amendment will sail through like a letter at the post office. So I want to say this, in spite of the fact that there is party discipline, I think at one point in time, these parliamentarians, although some of them don't represent anybody but themselves,
like your parliamentarian,
they should be conscientious. They should be, at times they should be conscientious and know that they are taking decisions which will affect the generations which are coming up tomorrow. But if they go and sell their consciences, because I know every time there are changes to be made on the Constitution, that's when a lot of brown envelopes change hands at the National Assembly. Okay. Because at times, even the obese majority, they refuse to heed in. And then you see the brown envelopes, the big envelopes coming. So just want to beg that let them be conscientious and feel for the Cameroonian people.
They should feel for the Cameroonian people, same like teachers should feel for their students. It's on this note of hope, hoping that teachers will get back to class, that we are ending the program this evening. Take another appointment same time next week on the same channel. Till then, may the Almighty God continue to bless the Republic.